Hey guys, welcome to Goals Weekly. This is going to be a new weekly series where I give you the latest news and updates on the game, community updates, the updates from developers, and my RTG progress. In the last couple of weeks, there's been some key headlines like a major gameplay patch has dropped, followed by two hotfixes, the community outraged over the new gameplay balance. The Goals player base dropped significantly, and the developers have already given updates on what is coming next. Let's get into it. Okay, let's start with game updates. There is a new PlayStation Plus, only for PlayStation players, of course, a PlayStation Plus free pack available for grabs. So to redeem it, you need to go to the Goals home screen, and if you haven't redeemed it already, it's going to show right here at the top of the screen. If not, you'll have to scroll right to the bottom where you can see the add-ons category, and you'll be able to see this pack available right here. I have already redeemed it, so it's not giving me the option to redeem, of course. This one is a quite useful one because it gives out 6 uncommon plus players. So if you haven't done it already, make sure you do it before it goes away. All right, let's talk about the patch updates now. On the 23rd of June, Goals dropped the first major patch of the game. I'm gonna call it the defensive AI patch because the main essence of the patch is the buff of defensive AI. And after that, after a couple of days, they dropped a hotfix to nerf the defensive buff they already did. That was not good enough. There were still complaints going around, so they dropped another hotfix about 5 days or weeks so later. In terms of patches, that's where we are standing right now. There is still a lot of outrage that's going on in the community after all these hot fixes and workarounds that they tried. I will dive deeper into it a bit later, but with the patch updates, that's where we are standing. Now it's time for Community Pulse, where we talk about what's been happening across the Goals community. This would be a good retrospective for the Goals team as well. Honestly, what a couple of weeks it's been. It's a crazy roller coaster of emotions. The big patch and the two hot fixes completely changed the feeling about the game, and the community is outraging at this time and waiting for a new patch. It all began with the big gameplay patch that they dropped on the 23rd of June. They nerfed or removed the speed boost, which was great. They improved the defensive AI. That's where they went too far. The improvements were too far over the limit, I feel. And there were various other gameplay tunings as well. And at the time it dropped, the community was excited and curious. However, the more the community played the games, the complaints started coming in. The funny thing about this big defensive AI patch was the defensive AI was not the main issue at that time when they dropped this patch. The fact of the matter is, the manual feel of the defending in this game was the most appreciated aspect in Goals at the time of the release. Also, that was what made Goals very unique from other football simulator games in the market. But they buffed the defensive AI, and now the game feels a bit like the FC now. After playing more matches, the players in the community, I mean, one part of the community felt like the defensive changes are welcomed and the defending becomes easier now. They were happy with it. And the other part of the community were not happy with the fact that the attacking AI and the attacking side of things did not keep up. So the main complaints that were before began to resurface again, like the passing problems, the passes going to the wrongly targeted players. Attacking AI is not so good at this time, and the finishing is very inconsistent, mainly because of the fact that the goalkeeper rushing and closing down is very quick and overpowered. So these problems are the most critical problems with the game at this time. This is where the community was split. One camp saying defending is finally good now and they do not want defending to be nerfed anymore. The other camp says attacking is ruined in the game and they want the defensive AI to be nerfed. But for me, my personal opinion is the defensive AI is too overpowered at this time. There are a couple of things that I would like to be nerfed in the defensive department. One of the two things that I want to be nerfed in the defense department is this. In one of the patches, they implemented this change saying there is a slight nerf to the jockey max speed and the jockey max turn acceleration. This is a problem for me because they are directly nerfing the manual defending ability of the player here. This is not the R1 press nerf. This is not the defensive AI nerf. This is directly nerfing the player that you're controlling. There was no problem with manual defense, in my opinion. They actually nerfed the jockeying speed. Because of this, I feel like the feel of manually reading a play and winning the ball back is heavily nerfed now. It's very, very challenging. And for me, playing from the other side of the world, mostly in 180 plus ping, it's torture. The other defensive nerf that I would like to see is this. Um, Andreas tweeted this the other day. He highlighted a situation where the AI controlled defender, when returning to the natural position, can accidentally take the ball back from the ball carrier. Um, this is part of the defensive AI problem that we have been talking about after the previous patch. So there are a couple of ways we can go about this. At this time, I do not think they should be focusing more on this because it's not the most critical problem at this time. So my initial thinking was reducing the effectiveness of this accidental AI tackles, which is a workaround. Of course, it's not a permanent solution. And it also means, since it is a workaround in the interim, it can be deployed quicker than the other permanent solution, which is number three in his suggestion. So if it is a workaround, less effort required to implement this change, and they can quickly spin off an interim solution while we wait for the permanent solution. Of course, the permanent solution would be to add a collision avoidance for the AI defender to not tackle the ball carrier. That would be really nice, but I'm sure they need to implement new codes in it, which involves more testing and it's gonna take more effort. So for that reason, because I want them to focus on the more critical issues, which is the passing, the attacking AI and stuff, I would suggest going for a workaround in the interim rather than going for a bigger solution and with bigger effort. But I have to say, in spite of all the outrage, in spite of the fact that not every issue is fixed in the game, the Goals team is listening always, and they are responding and they are conversing with the community and listening to the community feedback. And I'm sure they are trying their best to address all the issues and the feedback given by the community. Overall, after the major patch and two hot fixes, the result of the game right now is defending has improved significantly while the attacking flaws are still existing in the game untouched. So the game is unbalanced. Personally, I think that's a fair way to describe where Goals is standing today. All right, let's move to Developers Watch, where we will be seeing what the developers have been saying and what is coming next potentially. Again, the one thing that stood out with the developers and the community managers in Goals is they always listen to the community and they involve in discussion with the community. Big kudos to them for doing that. They have acknowledged the fact that the defending has improved significantly, but the attacking side hasn't been touched. So the balance is not there yet. So on what's coming in the game next, the devs have already confirmed that the attacking AI is already being worked on and the passing improvements are already on the way. So this is reassuring to the players in the community. They are definitely planning to improve the gameplay balance through future updates. So the recent patch and the hot fixes are definitely not the end of the story. Outside of gameplay, the devs have also hinted at more live contents, additional swaps content, and more live events are planned over the next coming weeks. So my gameplay balance meter for this week looks like this. I'll be updating these scores every week so that we can track the gameplay balance. It'll be interesting to see how the gameplay balance evolves over time. But if you guys want to change the rating on any of these aspects of the gameplay, or if you want to add new aspects in this gameplay balance meter, let me know in the comments. We can definitely incorporate that as well. All right, let's move on to my RTG update. There's not much exciting in this category at this time because I finished Elite 2 in KO. Didn't pack anyone interesting from the KO rewards. And when it comes to ranked, I'm sitting at 1732 SR. And this is the team I have been running. Almost everyone has evolved except for Farah. Farah is the one that's a new addition to the team. I wanted to go over everyone in the team and talk about their performance, but today this episode is not for it because the other categories like the patch updates, the community updates, and the developer updates consumed a lot of time. So we'll keep that for later when we have some exciting things that are happening with the club. I will let you guys know, but for now, this is all it is. All right, on to the question of the week. This is definitely going to be about the patch for sure, or the upcoming patch. What is the one gameplay feature that you would want the goal team to fix or improve in the next patch? You can only choose one. So if there is only one you could choose, what would that be? Let me know in the comments. Have a good one. I will see you in the next one. Cheers.